Good afternoon, and welcome to UMBC's undergraduate commencement exercises. The ceremony will begin in a few minutes, and we ask that you please take your seats. First, a few notes for your safety and comfort. Please note the exits throughout the arena, in particular, the ones nearest you. Emergency medical services are available on the concourse level behind section 101. During the ceremony, please do not leave your seats to take photographs or videos. Aisles must remain clear at all times, and guests are not allowed on the main floor. As we prepare to begin our ceremony, please silence your cell phones and other electronic devices. We ask that all guests stay until the end of the ceremony out of respect for our graduates and UMBC. Please turn your attention to the far end of the arena floor and stand for our commencement procession. And please welcome our UMBC Brass Quintet. The procession of graduates is led by the Students' Marshal, Dr. Kyung Un-yoon, the 2023 recipient of the Presidential Teaching Professor Award and Assistant Professor and Coordinator of Korean in the Department of Modern Languages, Linguistics, and Intercultural Communication. She is accompanied by our student marshals, Imani Conway, a student in public health, and Evan Sheldon, a student in physics. faculty and staff procession is led by Dr. Matthew Pelton, the 2023 Presidential Research Professor and Professor and Chair of the Department of Physics. He is joined by Ms. Tricia Wells, Staff Marshal, the 2023 Presidential Distinguished Staff Award recipient for exempt staff, and Assistant Vice Provost for the Division of Professional Studies. They are accompanied by a Student Marshal, Sylvia Hall, a student in biological science. The faculty and staff marshals are carrying batons that the UMBC Alumni Association gave to the university in honor of our 40th anniversary in 2006. The Platform Party is led by the Grand Marshal, Dr. Susan McDonough, President of the Faculty Senate and Associate Professor of History. The Grand Marshal carries the University Mace, a symbol of presidential authority. Used only on formal academic occasions, UMBC's Mace was commissioned by the Alumni Association for UMBC's 20th anniversary in 1986.
commencement exercises of the University of Maryland, Baltimore County will now be in order. Please remain standing for our national anthem, performed by Imani Giri. Imani graduated this morning with dual degrees in psychology and K-12 choral music education. She's excited to begin working as a full-time elementary school music teacher in Anne Arundel starting this fall. Imani is honored to represent the music department today. Her performance will be accompanied by a presentation of the colors by UMBC's Naval ROTC program. Please remain standing throughout the anthem and until the colors have retired.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming. And the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Thank you, Imani. That was an extraordinary rendition. And thank you to the NROTC. Everyone, please be seated. As we welcome you to UMBC, we wish to acknowledge that UMBC was established upon the land of the Piscataway and Susquehannock peoples. Over time, citizens of many more indigenous nations have come to reside in this region. we humbly offer our respect to all past, present, and future Indigenous people connected to this place. Now, I am pleased to introduce the 6th President of UMBC, Dr. Valerie Shears Ashby.
Good afternoon. One more time, good afternoon. What a glorious occasion. On behalf of our entire community, it is my privilege to welcome you to the 82nd commencement of the University of Maryland, Baltimore County. In addition to this afternoon's undergraduate ceremony, graduate students were awarded master's and doctoral degrees in a separate ceremony yesterday. This morning, we awarded undergraduate degrees to students from the College of Arts, Humanities, and Social Sciences, the School of Social Work, and the Erickson School of Aging Studies. To the families and friends of our graduates, we are simply delighted that you have joined us from near and far to honor and to celebrate these outstanding students. I also want to welcome those graduating students, family members, and friends who are joining us online. Thank you for being a part of today's ceremony. Thank you as well to all of our faculty and our staff, to our fellow campus leaders who are here with us today, to the academic and administrative leaders, shared governance leaders, members of the Commencement Executive Committee, and the Presidential Faculty and Staff Award recipients. Welcome and thank you for being here. It is now my pleasure to share a short video and greetings from the 63rd Governor of the State of Maryland, Governor Wes Moore.
Hello, class of 2024 graduates. It's Governor Wes Moore, and I want to extend my warmest congratulations to each and every one of you on reaching this significant milestone. Whether you're a recent graduate, a returning student, the first in your family to pursue higher education, a dedicated member of our armed services, or someone striving for an advanced degree, today is a testament to your dedication to lifelong learning. You haven't just invested in your education, you're investing in your dreams. As you stand on the threshold of new beginnings, remember to carry forward all the things you learned and experienced. Pledge to harness your knowledge for the greater good by enriching your own lives and making a positive impact on the lives of others. Stay true to your principles and your values. Never cease your pursuit of personal and intellectual growth. And let's work together towards creating a brighter future for our state, our nation, and our world. Thank you for your dedication and best wishes on your personal and your professional success.
Our thanks to Governor Moore. It is now my pleasure to introduce Regent Anwar Hassan, a member of the University System of Maryland Board of Regents. A senior vice president at WSP USA, a leading engineering and professional services consultancy, Mr. Hassan is a civic and business leader with more than 37 years of experience in water and other infrastructure projects around the world. He has a long history of leadership and service in the state of Maryland. Regent Hassan is a former chair of the Maryland Higher Education Commission and former chair of the Governor's Commission on Middle Eastern American Affairs. He has also served as a member of the Governor's P20 Leadership Council and a former member of the Maryland Aviation Administration Commission. Among his many accolades is a 2016 Most Influential Marylander Award. We are pleased to have him here to deliver greetings on behalf of the Board of Regents. Please join me in welcoming Regent Hassan.
President Valerie Shiraz, thank you for the kind introduction. Good afternoon. Oh, that's very good. I just want to make sure that you're all awake. On behalf of the University of System of Maryland Board of Regents, I'm delighted to join you and to say congratulations to all of you. It is an honor to share the occasion with President Valerie Shiraz Ashby, who continues to provide visionary leadership to this tremendous institution. I also want to recognize and thank the outstanding faculty and staff at UMBC. Thanks to your collective vision, leadership, and hard work, University of Maryland, Baltimore County continues to thrive as an institution known for its dynamic, excellent, and impactful service. UMBC is a force for education, research and discovery, and public service. It stands as one of the finest universities in the country and in the world. It represents that which is best about public higher education. I'm also pleased to recognize the Honorable Sethuman Panchanathan, Director of United States National Science Foundation, who will be receiving an honorary doctorate degree today. The University System of Maryland is immensely proud of UMBC, but it is your accomplishment and your hard work that we celebrate today. Your determination and sacrifice have paid off, and congratulations to all of you once again. I also want to acknowledge your family and friends, both those who are with you today and those who are with you here in spirit. I know they take pride in what you have accomplished. They have shared with all of you your success today, and they will be with you once you go into your professional life. Now let me share with all of you some word of wisdom from my 40 years of professional experience. Number one, be curious and not afraid to say, I don't know, so you can learn quicker. Bring consistency in your life and grow incrementally and not exponentially. Don't chase the money, but go after the right experience, and you will see money will chase you. As you get older, your interests and your skill will evolve. My advice is to be open to change. Don't be afraid to try something new. As you move forward in your life, take what you have learned and use it for good. Give back to the community and the world. Build that brighter future for yourself and for others to come. To the graduates we honor today, I just want to say we are in awe of the persistence and tenacity you have displayed. We know it will serve you well throughout your career and throughout your life. And when looking at this group of students, we see the vision and the mission, the excellence of the University System of Maryland brought to life. So that we say thank you to all of you. And above all, we say congratulations. Today you become an enduring part of UMBC, proud and impressive legacy. On behalf of the Board of Regents and the entire University System of Maryland, I wish you all the best in the years to come. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Regent Hassan. I appreciate your words. We appreciate the support of the Board of Regents, and we are grateful for your attendance here today. Our Provost, David Dowalder, is unable to attend today, but it is my pleasure next to introduce William LaCourse, Dean of the College of Natural and Mathematical Sciences, to provide a greeting.
Thank you, President Shiraz Ashby. On behalf of the scholarly community we call UMBC, I extend my congratulations to our graduates. UMBC's faculty, staff, and administrators held high expectations for you when they welcomed you as a member of the UMBC community. Those expectations were based on your promise as scholars. Today, we celebrate your fulfillment of that promise. You will join the tradition of UMBC alumni who, through their lives and through their works, continue to advance our understanding of our humanity, our democracy, our interactions with the natural world, and our efforts to make a positive difference in the lives of others. Your diploma represents more, not just academic achievement, but the friendships you've forged, the faculty who guided your learning, and the family and friends who supported you along the way. I hope your experience as a member of the UMBC community provided you the opportunity to clarify the values we share together: excellence, commitment, hard work, respect, and probably most important, integrity. So look to the future. Make the most of the talents bestowed upon you. Extend the resources of your mind and your heart. Enjoy a life rich in the knowledge that each day your work and relationships continue to make a difference. Congratulations. And now, I am delighted to introduce our 2024 Valedictorian, Dewan Moreland. Dewan, give it up. Dewan is graduating today with dual degrees in biological sciences and music. I knew it was coming. Dewan has conducted research at UMBC and other institutions, including Rockefeller University, the University of Pennsylvania, and Columbia University. His research combines the majors by studying songbirds, specifically song syllables use differences in female and male songbirds. He was awarded a Goldwater Scholarship based on his research and has a first authored manuscript he intends to submit for publication. He is also an accomplished musician and composer. His body of work has won multiple awards, including the inaugural UMBC Symphony Orchestra Composer Competition. Dewan is engaged in service both on and off campus. This is apparently in his spare time. So, he is a Meyerhoff Scholar and an engaged mentor. He has been a mentor for UMB's Cure Scholars Program, worked with Baltimore City middle schoolers interested in STEM, and created a mentoring program for black men at his church. He is involved in his chapter of the NAACP's Youth and College Division and was president of the Meyerhoff Scholars Student Council. He is also tutored in biology, chemistry, and music theory. After graduation, Dewan will be entering a PhD program in neuroscience at the University of Pennsylvania. Please join me in congratulating our valedictorian, Dewan Moreland.
Wow. Good afternoon. Thank you, Dr. LaCourse, for the amazing introduction. I want to start off by giving another round of applause for my fellow graduates. So, as you can imagine, I thought a lot about what I wanted to share today, about the different lessons I learned here at UMBC. And of course, I've learned a lot, which I know is true for everyone here too. But my most important lessons actually came from my mother. This amazing woman sitting over there taught me 3 big things. The first is to celebrate yourself, even in the small victories. The second is to recognize who supported you along the way. And the third is to set a good example, because people are always watching your every move. I love it too. First, why should we celebrate ourselves? We deserve to celebrate ourselves because us being here in our caps and gowns is proof that we are thriving. We dealt with a global pandemic during critical transition points in our lives, struggling with classes, jobs, family responsibilities, personal issues, and so many other problems that felt bigger than us. On top of all this, we did it at UMBC. UMBC is not easy. I know, trust. That's why today, as UMBC is celebrating us, we deserve to celebrate ourselves. I took 5 years to finish my degrees, and I dealt with a lot of imposter syndrome for it. But I made it. And whatever path we took, thank you. I made it. And whatever path we took, we still made it. So whether we took 3 years, 5 years, or more, whether we commuted to campus or lived on campus, whether we transferred in or took some time off, we deserve to celebrate ourselves in achieving this milestone. Celebrate that you're here today. But it's also important to recognize that we didn't get here alone. There are people who paved the way for us, people who poured into us, and people who supported us all along the way. And we need to show our appreciation for those people because they helped us through our journeys. Even though the obstacles we may have faced may have made us feel isolated, we were never truly alone in this race. Our friends and families, professors and coaches, mentors and peers, and even our pets were all there for us. Even those who showed us random acts of kindness encouraged us to keep moving. And for all the people who helped us get here to this point, we are extremely grateful for you, and we thank you. We could not have done this without your support. And to my family, my parents, my grandparents, my church family, my mentors, and all of my friends in the audience and online, I want to thank you all personally. I could not stand here today without you all. So class of 2024, join me in giving a hand for all of our supporters in the audience. Finally, as we move forward, we need to set an example for those who are following in our footsteps. I have a young nephew named Kendrick, and my family used to call him my shadow because he followed me around everywhere I went. He's at home right now, but trust me, he would have been right here on the stage with me if he could be here. But even the very, very few times he wasn't physically following me around, I knew I had to set a good example for him because my mother said he was always watching me. As I began mentoring the youth in my communities and tutoring here at UMBC, I learned again that people are always watching. How we treat others and the example that we set for them will stick. Part of our achievement today is to set a strong example for those following us. They don't just see our success, but they see our perseverance and grit as encouragement and inspiration for themselves. But it's not enough to just be a good example. We need to be present in their lives, supporting them and encouraging them, just like other people did for us or that we wish we had. So class of 2024, I want to leave you with this. Look at yourself and be proud of this amazing accomplishment. Look around you and recognize that you weren't alone in this process. And look out for those who are following behind you and become the support for them that you once had. Knowing this class, this will not be the last achievement we have. Even if our plans for the future are uncertain, be excited, be confident, and know that you are prepared for all that the future has to offer. Thank you, and congrats again to the class of 2024.
Mom, you did really good. Real good, real good. Thank you, Dwan. That was amazing. Thank you so very much. I am now pleased to introduce Mercedes Burns, Assistant Professor of Biological Sciences, who will have the honor of introducing our commencement speaker and honorary degree recipient. You see how quickly she came to the podium? She does not know I'm about to brag on her for the next 2 minutes, so she can stay there, stay right there. Dr. Burns, who joined the UMBC faculty in 2017, is one of 6 UMBC faculty members to have received an NSF National Science Foundation Career Award since 2023. This award is the most prestigious honor bestowed by the NSF upon early career faculty, and it is given to those whose research, service, and commitment to STEM, equity, diversity, accessibility, and inclusion are at the highest levels. These scientists exemplify the role of teacher-scholar through research and education, and they are emerging leaders in their fields and in their institutions. The award supports faculty research and educational activities with federal grants for 5 consecutive years, so it is an honor that is meaningful in practical ways as well as with prestige. For 6 UMBC faculty to have received career awards over the past year and a half is impressive on its own. But what is even more remarkable is that since the program's inception in 1995, there have been 50 UMBC faculty recipients. That deserves a round of applause. Dr. Burns, then, is in good company, and she truly exemplifies the qualities that NSF looks for in its career recipients. Her NSF Career Award, a $987,000 grant, over 5 years, supports her research in the evolutionary biology of sex and sexual conflict in arachnids, as well as her work as Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Committee Chair for the American Arachnological Society. The NSF Career Award is a great distinction indeed, but it may not be the most interesting distinction that Dr. Burns has received. In fact, in 2021, Dr. Burns, I just want to be you, I'm just going to say that. In 2021, in honor of her contributions to the field and in recognition of her as the first known female African-American arachnologist, researchers named a newly discovered spider species for her, Umidia Mercedes Burnsay. I know that this new species, native to Culbertson County, Texas, is just one of the many ways in which Dr. Burns' legacy will live on. Now, I present to you Dr. Burns.
Thank you so much, Dr. Shears Ashby. It's my pleasure to introduce our honorary degree recipient and commencement speaker, Dr. Saturaman Panchanathan. The Honorable Dr. Panchanathan is a computer scientist and engineer and the 15th director of the U.S. National Science Foundation, NSF. In this role, he leads the $9 billion independent federal agency that is charged with advancing all fields of scientific discovery, technological innovation, and STEM education. Dr. Panchanathan's distinguished career in science, technology, engineering, and education spans more than 3 decades and includes service in both higher education and government. As director, Dr. Panchanathan holds leadership roles on several key interagency councils and committees, including as co-chair of the National Advisory Council on Innovation and Entrepreneurship, and the member of the White House CHIPS Implementation Steering Council and the White House Gender Policy Council. He's also chair of the Interagency Arctic Research Policy Committee and co-vice chair of the Council for Inclusive Innovation. Prior to joining NSF, Dr. Panchanathan was appointed by the president to serve on the National Science Board and chaired the Council on Research of the Association of Public and Land-Grant Universities. He served previously as an executive vice president of the Arizona State University Knowledge Enterprise, where he was also chief research and innovation officer. He also founded the Center for Cognitive Ubiquitous Computing at ASU, and under his leadership, the university saw a 5-fold increase in research performance. Dr. Panchanathan's scientific contributions have advanced human-centered multimedia computing, haptic user interfaces, and ubiquitous computing technologies for enhancing quality of life for individuals with different abilities, machine learning for multimedia applications, and media processor designs. He's published nearly 500 articles in peer-reviewed journals and conference proceedings, and mentored more than 150 graduate students, postdoctoral researchers, and research engineers and scientists. Throughout his career, Dr. Panchanathan has worked to advance diversity and inclusion, and the NSF has articulated its commitment to broadening participation in STEM through expanded opportunities for people of all backgrounds. As inclusive excellence is a core UMBC value, we are especially gratified to honor Dr. Panchanathan for his leadership. For his many contributions, Dr. Panchanathan has received numerous awards and honorary degrees, and he's a member of the National Academy of Engineering and a fellow of the National Academy of Inventors, the American Association for the Advancement of Science, the Association for Computing Machinery, and the Institute of Electrical and Electronics Engineers. We are honored that he has joined us today to receive an honorary degree and deliver the commencement address. At this time, President Shears Ashby will confer the honorary degree. Dean Joshi, please also join us. And Dr. Panchanathan, please step forward.
President Shears Ashby, we are proud today to honor Dr. Sethuraman Panchanathan with an honorary Doctor of Science degree for his work to promote inclusive excellence in scientific discovery and innovation.
Now, therefore, by virtue of the authority vested in me by the state of Maryland and given to me by the Chancellor of the University System of Maryland, and upon the unanimous vote of the Board of Regents, I confer upon you the degree of Doctor of Science, honoris causa, together with all of the rights and privileges thereunto pertaining. Congratulations. I now invite Dr. Panchanathan to deliver the commencement address.
Fellow retrievers, how are you all doing? I am thrilled to be with all of you today. It is truly an honor to be recognized this way, particularly by an institution that cares so deeply in its DNA about inclusion with excellence. This is a model that our nation needs a lot more of everywhere across our nation. And President Shears Ashby, it's truly an honor to be here with you today. You exemplify the spirit and continue the legacy of Dr. Roboski in terms of this institution being in the leading edge of inclusion with excellence. So thank you so much for this distinct honor. Thank you. What do I say about Dr. Burns? Other than what has been said already, she's a phenomenal scientist. I will only say one thing. Career awardees of NSF, as was celebrated, is one of the topmost accomplishments a young scientist gets in terms of investment in their research over a longer period of time. The only thing I told Dr. Burns is that Jennifer Doudna won the Career Award of NSF many years ago. In 2020, then went on to win a small thing called the Nobel Prize. So, Dr. Burns, just some small expectations on you, on behalf of UMBC. So no pressure, no pressure. Now, the two folks that were here, President Shears Ashby was one of the early recipients of Career Award herself. And Dean Joshi was also a career awardee from the National Science Foundation. So look at this family of career awardees, the 50 of them that was talked about. Now, Devon received the most prestigious award that is given for young graduate students. That's called the Graduate Research Fellowship, which is a very competitive fellowship. Devon, congratulations on receiving the Graduate Research Fellowship of NSF. I may as well have the NSF flag flown here with a number of NSF achievements that is there in this amazing institution. Regent Hassan, thank you for your inspiring words. So now, I'm going to dive into my presentation, which I reflected on as what do I remember from the 4 graduations, the 2 undergraduate degrees, my master's and PhD degrees from my commencement. Nil, nada. I said, I'm not going to let that happen from this commencement that all of you are in. So therefore I decided as a faculty member, true to my DNA, that you're all going to have a quiz at the end of the speech. And I checked with President Ashby as well as Regent Hassan and with Dean LaCourse and Dean Joshi, and they said they will not sign off on your degree until you pass this quiz. Now, let's dive into this. When I was thinking about UMBC, what does it stand for? I looked at this amazing testament in Princeton Review by the students, which said that UMBC is a place which is cool, being cool and smart. So UMBC therefore stands for a unique mission for being cool. Now, I said I'm going to have a quiz. Now let's get started. Keep track with what I'm saying because I'm going to ask you at the end the question. So you can't fall asleep. So let's get on with it. I'm going to tell you about 10 C's today. BCs. So let's talk about 10 C's. The first C, remember today is not conclusion. It could have been that C, isn't it? Conclusion of your studies? No, it's called commencement. Commencement because today is the day that you're actually going to start to learn lifelong. It is not a conclusion of anything. You have been empowered. You have been enriched. You have been provided the skill sets that will allow you now to learn for life. So this is the commencement, folks, for lifelong learning. Oh my God, I didn't expect this. I thought I passed all my tests. No, this is the beginning. So I just want to remind you, the first C is commencement with the appropriate understanding of commencement. The second C, keep track, is you are the COVID generation. You all came in at a very tough time when you entered the university. And it was not easy. Things moved from face-to-face to online, to hybrid, to all kinds of things. But you were resilient, you were focused, and you achieved what you're achieving today. You are an amazing generation that is going to accomplish unbelievable things. I know that because you have transcended some real difficulties as you have gone through your 4 years. That's the second C, the resilience that you possess because of COVID. What is the third C? Are you keeping up? Commencement, COVID. Third C. All of this begins with curiosity. Remember that when you were a small baby, you just crawled, touched this, saw that color. That curiosity, we are all explorers. We are all explorers from day one. My curiosity was sparked
I call it the STEM spark, by looking at the moon rocks. Yes, they are rocks. But this was an amazing display that I went and saw as an 8-year-old boy when the United States circulated these rocks all over the world. And in Chennai, in India, growing up, 8-year-old boy goes to the consulate, sees these amazing moon rocks. And I said, how do these rocks make it here? Somebody built an amazing device with people on it, sent them up, they went and explored away, they came back with these rocks, and these rocks are now out there for this 8-year-old to see and get excited by. Yes, they are rocks. But those rocks excited me about the science, technology, prowess that it took in order for it to be something that I could enjoy. And therefore, I felt the draw to want to be part of that. Every one of you has such a STEM spark journey, I'm sure you have. So remember, never forget that you are explorers. Never give up the curiosity. Curiosity is all through your life. Never give that up. That's the third C, curiosity. Okay? Fourth, courage. Courage, because that's what it takes. What you've gone through in the last 4 years, which you talked about, but you had the courage, you have the tenacity, you're empowered with that. That is what this institution has given you. I can do anything. Faced with any difficulties, I can do it, the courage. Let me tell you a story. My student David Hayden, in my research center, a visually impaired student, was a double major in math and computer science. After the freshman year, first year of undergraduate degree, he walks into my office and says, Dr. Punch, I'm having difficulties. In math and computer science, I cannot follow what's going on. In calculus from step 1 to step n, in my algorithm design from step 1 to step n, I'm not able to understand what's going on. I'm sitting in the first row in my class. Can you please help me? You are building devices for assisting individuals who are blind and visually impaired in your research center. I said to David, who understands the problem better than you? Therefore, you will be the innovator, you will be the designer, you will be the developer, and you will be the solutions provider. He took my challenge, he came into my lab, and I surrounded him with other undergraduate research students, high school students, master's students, PhD students, postdoctoral fellows, faculty from all disciplines as part of my center. He came in. Within a year, in his junior year, in his sophomore year, he designed an amazing device. He took his tablet PC, connected with Radio Shack video camera through USB interface, and that lecture that was not accessible to him, he brought it through that video camera into his device. And then he did something even more clever. He split the screen logically into two halves. One half was the video coming in of his lectures. On the right half, he developed a notes interface, taking down notes as he was watching the video, linking video and the notes, linking screenshots and the notes. And he built an amazing device within a semester or two in the sophomore year. Then he came to me and he said, Dr. Punch, can I replicate this and make it available for all the other visually impaired students so that they too can use these devices, give me the feedback so that I can then make this device even more accessible? And he did that. In the junior year, in the second semester, he said to me, Dr. Punch, I would like to submit this prototype. He worked with College of Design students, designing ergonomically wonderful interfaces. And he submitted it to this Microsoft Imagine Cup competition. This is a worldwide competition among PhD students, master's students, undergraduate students, all of them in one group. 11 categories, the touch and tablet category. He submits this prototype. He won the competition in Arizona, won the competition in the West Coast, beat Stanford students and Berkeley students, went to the national competition, beat MIT students and Carnegie Mellon and other students. I'm sure UMBC was not there. And then he went to the world competition, 375,000 entries all over the world. He called me from Poland at 3 a.m. and said, Dr. Punch, I won the world competition. An undergraduate student who did not have the ability to be able to succeed in his courses 2 years later wins the world competition. If David Hayden can do that, every one of you can do a lot more, lot better, lot faster, and make an impact in the nation. It takes courage. It takes courage. And so that is the next C, courage. Make sure that you're empowering this courage and delivering for the country. The country needs you. It's not just a statement. The country needs you more than ever. Next, change. This is a time of change, rapid change. You look at AI. This is going to be, change is the only constant, folks. Change is the only constant. You better get used to it. What this university has given you is the resilience and the ability to adapt, to configure yourself for that change, the world change. So never be afraid of change. Confront it with courage. The other C that we talked about. Confront it with courage. Change is the only constant. So where are we right now? Commencement, COVID, this is a review class right now. Commencement, COVID, curiosity, courage, and change. We are halfway through, if you're keeping time. The next important C that you need to remember is, it is never about you. It is never about you. It is about you and your team. Duan said this so wonderfully. That it is about your family, it's about your friends, it's about your peers, it's about your colleagues, and when you go into the workforce, it'll be about your team members. It's always about people working together. That C is collaboration. Be prepared to collaborate. I know you've learned that skill here, but make sure that you are putting that skill on steroids. Because collaboration, people who collaborate are not only going to solve big problems and big challenges, but they will also have a huge impact. And by the way, as the wonderful Regent said, if you do that, money will chase after you. The other C, I didn't have that in my list. You can add it to that other list, which is, it will chase after you. Collaboration, remember that. We would not be solving grand challenge problems without that spirit of collaboration. I can tell you, the amazing black hole discovery was done by 300 scientists from 30 different countries with 8 different telescopes all over the globe, working together from different disciplines. That's how the black hole discovery happened in our galaxy. That's what it takes, collaboration in anything. The next C, convergence, the 7th one, convergence. Convergence is about not just your disciplinary knowledge, and I'm so happy to see Duan here having not only majored in biology and doing amazing things, but also in music. That convergence, the convergence of multiple disciplines coming together, that is the future. The climate adaptation, climate mitigation, poverty elimination, pandemic prevention, whatever you want to take as a grand challenge. Those grand challenges will not be solved by just one discipline or one expertise. Let's say climate adaptation or mitigation. It is not just a science problem. It is not just an engineering problem. It is not just a policy problem. It is not just a social problem or a behavioral problem or any other problem. It is all of them and more. People working together in a convergent mode in order that you might solve the great grand challenges. So be prepared. Be prepared for the future where convergence is something that you embrace through collaboration. Now we are at the 8th C. Okay? That is about what I'm doing right now. Communication. Imagine the same commencement speaker. How are you all doing, folks? I'm sure you're all enjoying your day with your family. You know, it must be a fantastic day, isn't it? I wish you all the best. Go forth and achieve great things. Or, if you want to inspire people, have the inspiration to be able to communicate with energy. I have always seen, look at the wonderful governor's message, the way he expresses it. We are drawn to him, drawn to him. That's because of his unbelievable communication skill. That's what great leaders do. That's what people who accomplish great things are. Make sure you embrace this communication skill and express it in full form. Communication. And in order to do all of this, The one thing I always find, there are a lot of people who have dreams, a lot of people who have aspirations to achieve things. But you know what is the difference between a person having an aspiration to a person achieving the aspiration? You know what is that? Commitment. There are a lot of people who have dreams, but they don't achieve it because they are not committed to it. I'm sorry, I'm going to break this. That was not part of the plan. That's why I don't have any reading material, teleprompters, nothing. I just speak. Hard enough. Commitment. Make sure you are fully committed to what you're going to be doing all through your life. And let me ask you for one favor. For all the energy that I've exuded, yes, I got a doctorate degree. But I want to request all of you only one thing that I want from you, from every one of you, every one of you. You all are here because, to Dewan's statement, you all are here because you had a community that supported you, community that backed you, community that made sure that you never, when you fell down, that you never were down. They lifted you up, they motivated you, they ensured that you were successful. You all had it. For every one of you, there are hundreds of them who don't have that. This is unacceptable in our country. Unacceptable in our country. Talent and ideas are democratized and they are everywhere in our country. Rural, urban, across the broad socio-economic demographic and across the rich diversity of our nation. It is our responsibility as citizens of this great nation to unleash every ounce of talent everywhere across this nation. It is our responsibility. It is not somebody else's responsibility. Retrievers, you have the DNA of UMBC. That DNA is about lifting people up. That DNA is about making sure people are given the choices, the chances, and making things accessible and inspiring people. So today, you are going to take a vow that every one of you, at least 25 people in your lifetime, not in a year, in a lifetime, that you will lift at least 25 people in your lifetime. Imagine if every one of you were able to lift 25 other people who didn't have the opportunity like all of you did. What that would do for our country. And what would that do for humanity and society? Folks, retrievers, we have a collective responsibility as a retriever, fellow retriever, now, which I'm proud of. Let's take this as a mission. Let's take this as something that we are going to do, no matter what. No excuses. Oh, I'm tired today. Not acceptable. So that is the 9th C, commitment. And therefore, folks, when you take that commitment, I can with full vigor say, the last C, congratulations, class of 2024.
Where were you when I had an 8 a.m. course? Oh my goodness, I thought I had energy. Clearly I am lacking. I am clearly lacking. That was extraordinary. Let's give our guests another round of applause. If you were asleep, you are no longer. It is now my pleasure to declare the convocation officially open for the awarding of earned degrees. Will all the graduates receiving the degrees of Bachelor of Arts and Bachelor of Science please stand? Graduates, upon the recommendation of the faculty and by the authority of the State of Maryland given to the Board of Regents and the Chancellor of the University System of Maryland, and by them entrusted to me, I hereby admit you to the degrees which you have earned during the course of your studies at the University of Maryland, Baltimore County, in token whereof you shall be given a diploma with all of the honors, privileges, and responsibilities thereunto pertaining. Congratulations. Graduates, you may now be seated until directed by a commencement staff member. Before we invite our graduates to cross the stage, we want to first share a short video recognizing our graduates who are participating with us today virtually. Please help me celebrate them by cheering.
Ghana Salaheldin Abdel Wahed. Gabriel Grow Dorson, summa cum laude. Kirsten Maya Glenn. Joseph Gray, magna cum laude. Jixiang Ji. Aiden John. Meryl Suresh Kalangal. Billy Mwanjala. Joseph Henry Puchek, cum laude. Anthony Ross Reutenberg.
Today, each graduate will receive a memento from the UMBC Alumni Association. Representing the Alumni Association Board of Directors today is Mr. Kevin Yang. Kevin is one of, Kevin has a fan club right here. Okay. Kevin is one of over 90,000 UMBC alumni worldwide. He graduated with a bachelor's degree in computer science and a bachelor's degree in financial economics in 2007, and is the founder of KRY Properties. Please join me in thanking Kevin for his support of UMBC. I now call upon William LaCourse, Dean of the College of Natural and Mathematical Sciences.
I don't have any C's in my talk. Now I feel good about that. So, President Shears Ashby, I have the honor of welcoming the talented and remarkable students from the College of Natural and Mathematical Sciences who have completed all requirements for the degrees of Bachelor of Science and Bachelor of Arts.
Bachelor's candidates in the College of Natural and Mathematical Sciences. We now present the graduates in Biochemistry and Molecular Biology. Grace Ayomide Adeleke. Farine Arub Ahmad, magna cum laude. Dariush Ali Golizadeh, magna cum laude. Abdullah Ashfaq Bajwa, summa cum laude. Mulan Marshall Jao Bell, magna cum laude. Michaela Demarzi, magna cum laude. Lotachiku E. DeBoer. Caitlin Siobhan Doherty, summa cum laude. Olivia W. Edwards, magna cum laude. Nadia Chisholm Ebeninge. Yasim M. Al-Alami, cum laude. Brandon Donovan Fisher. Ian Oluwapamilerin Volarin. Liam Joseph Fortin, magna cum laude. Logan Harris, cum laude. Garrett Stanley Hill, summa cum laude. Layla Hussein, cum laude. Chioma Amarachi Ihiacho, cum laude. Alicia Rachel Urado Hernandez. Arjun Devesh Kanjapane, summa cum laude. Christopher McKendry Keeley. Imran M. Khan. Karina Anna Kamashak. Lillian Grace Kidd, cum laude. Magdalene Marie Lindsay, magna cum laude. Kate de la Fuente Magante, cum laude. Ramisha Mustafa, cum laude. Jean Truk Mai No. Kevin Nguyen. Augustine Obesasan. Samuel Oluwatimalehin Oluwarutimi. Gabriel Francis Pantusa, magna cum laude. Amarachi C. Canayo, cum laude. Melat W. Desta. Tatiana Angelina Perez, cum laude. Nico G. Ropo. Shefra Shah, magna cum laude. Christina Shrestha, summa cum laude. Viviana Alexis Smart, magna cum laude. Nicole Tynan Stone Street, cum laude. Nafia Kamrunisia Tangulvadi. Joash Jean Thomas. Sean Averill Cabaron Villiver, cum laude. Razia Asim Abbasi. Junior Jean-Baptiste Edisana Abisi. Chloe Afaribia Adarkwa, cum laude. Deborah A. Adenaji. Adetomiwa Adeusi. Aisha Bilal Ahmad. Khadija Ahmad. Iman Ahmed, cum laude. Anuwoluwapo Ruth Akinola. Nuamaka Vanessa Azinge, cum laude. Mukund Anand Krishnan. We now present the graduates in biological sciences. Dewan Andre Moreland, magna cum laude. Umair Ali Aslam. Shahabul Azhar. Arian T. Azimi. Marie-Louise Abby Perez Badiola, magna cum laude. Sean Anthony Bajadek. Devin Baker. Kayla Dawn Bafano. Suaisha Busal, cum laude. Zainab Shabir Barmal, cum laude. Claudine Ruth Blanco. Alexandria Ray Brooks. Kaylee Alexis Brown, cum laude. Taj Kaleha. Darius Anthony Cottrell. Danya H. Ali. Alejandro Mateo Catacora. Voss Schreiber Carter. Sanalika Chala. Sarah Delia Chase. Kevin Shen. Pal Sanjay Choksi, cum laude. Gabriella Camille Cruz, summa cum laude. Noah Gerson Cruz, magna cum laude. Sui H. Choi. Tyler C. Dan, summa cum laude. Marie Danaher. Clifton William Darby. Christina Marie Dario, magna cum laude. Kush Sandip Desai, cum laude. Christian G. Diaz. Alexander D. Maria. Casey Michael Douglas, summa cum laude. Taylor Dolores Drake. Umaima Drywitch. Zachary Charles Dudley. Olushola Arike Afuntoye. Richie Kalari M. Reza Paul Farjami. Jonte Farquhar. Ralph M. Fienking, magna cum laude. Joy C. Fanjanque. Lily Alice Fritz, magna cum laude. Shannon Nicole Frock. Julie Elizabeth Gallo. Colin Nicholas Gear. Layla Ghaffari, cum laude. Mame S.E.N. Gunny, cum laude. Islam Majid Haraz, magna cum laude. Emily Marina Hernandez, cum laude. Emily Grace Hickson. Matthew Holmes. Gregory James Hull. Noor Huma, magna cum laude. Manal Ibrahim. Laiba Sayed Iqbal, magna cum laude. Usher Irfan, magna cum laude. Andre Roberto Jackson, cum laude. Sarah Jawed, magna cum laude. Marla Lorraine Jimenez Bagan, cum laude. Nubia Escarleth Geronimo Oliva, cum laude. Hannah Jin, magna cum laude. Oluwa Damalari Deborah Aboyewa, cum laude. Alina Binti Marindi. Rishi Jindal, cum laude. Catherine Ajit John. Valise Dior Jones. Elyon John Karanja. Paramjit Kaur, magna cum laude. Mingtosu Cha Kirim. Daniel Key, cum laude. Christopher Jung Kim. Camille Ann Kinder. Mahadir Kore, magna cum laude. Simran Kumar. Bianca Sarah Lamptey Mills, magna cum laude. Flynn Benjamin Lesko, cum laude. Elizabeth Susan Lidahl. Jarrett Jalen Lloyd, cum laude. Emanuela Otunuga, cum laude. Katrina Hing Lu, cum laude. Kayla Mack, magna cum laude. Dave M. Mali, magna cum laude. Phoebe Cates, B. Mariano. Joaquin Emanuel Barcena Mayores, magna cum laude. Adriana Sofia Macrobi. Ritika Medirata. Zohra Jamshid Mian, cum laude. Asia Tiana Miller, magna cum laude. Kian Mirzai. Bukola A. Malaki, magna cum laude. Cynthia G. Moya, magna cum laude. Gohare Nayab. Samara Muse. Zain Naim, summa cum laude. Muhammad Yusuf Mahbub, magna cum laude. James Koa Nguyen, summa cum laude. Akshay Nutalapati, summa cum laude. Adam Anyeng Wafor. Ezyunyinye C. Wodum. Arian Jesse Nyanjo. Melen Jessica Makam Chinge. Ellison Marie Ober, summa cum laude. Satana Oja, summa cum laude. Daniela Chionyekachim Obidi, cum laude. Jennifer Fayokemi Ogunyamoju. Oluwatufe Comfort Oladoja Oladapo, cum laude. Adena Duola Olowodola. Nayeth S. Orhuela Cardona, cum laude. Namrata Oruganti. Ruth Oriana Osmond, magna cum laude. Shanvi Panda, magna cum laude. Dhruvi Vipul Kumar Patel, cum laude. Ishika Manesh Patel. Vidhi S. Patel. Viraj Patel, cum laude. Marissa L. Penn, cum laude. Lucas Glenn Pitkovitz, cum laude. Carla M. Press Porter. Declan N. Purvis. Jawaria Ishrat Kazi, cum laude. Zaid Qureshi, magna cum laude. Shruti Ramesh, magna cum laude. Ramin Mohammed Rashid. Yamini Ravi. Luke James Riley. Aliyah Hannah Africana Ramorosa. Sydney Ansa Richter, cum laude. Rashni Lamoya Roberts, cum laude. Stephen David Roberts. Ayana Robinson. Isabella Salguero Cespedes, cum laude. Asia Sanders. Barry Ayodeji Sani. Sophie Schaefer. Taylor Jenna Scott, cum laude. Andrea Bernadette Sequeira, cum laude. Lily Severson. Kelly Grace Shao. Akanksha Sharma, magna cum laude. Shreya Sharma. Idan Abraham Shavi. Parisa Shafi'i. Vignesh V. Siva Prakasam, cum laude. Anjali Sodi, summa cum laude. Julia Asha Srivastava, summa cum laude. Eva Stanley. Annie Lee Tang, cum laude. Naya E. Stahl. Maxwell Trias. Kalin Temsa, cum laude. Ebe Hireme Valerie Valentine. Eleni Olivia Varlas, magna cum laude. Jordan Gabriel Vecchione Milne. Sanya Vijayakumar, cum laude. Sojanya Viswanathan, summa cum laude. Whitney Wang, magna cum laude. Justin Watkins, cum laude. Kayla M. Watkins. Kathy Chun Yi. Madison Young, summa cum laude. We now present the graduates in chemistry and biochemistry. Molly Crossman. Maury Bane. Isabella Maria Guardado. Ryan Lawrence Hoffman, summa cum laude. Mei Jiang Lu. Elizabeth Ann Malloy, cum laude. Andrew Russell. Rayal Asha Alreen Smith. Zachary Ryan Smith. Kayla Rena Stewart, magna cum laude. Melanie Summer Tong. Gabrielle Amalthea Travere, summa cum laude. Anika Reddy Vedere, cum laude. We now present the graduates in mathematics and statistics. Sonia Murphy Anger. John Basmachi. James Edward Bieri. Callista Renee Brown. Catherine Hope Brungard, magna cum laude. Brendan Michael Cave, magna cum laude. Hakeem Faiz Chuktai. Jason Edward Cummings. Marco Cifuentes Urtube. Mara Bridget Cusick, cum laude. Nicholas Raymond DeBroy. Elsie Ferguson, summa cum laude. Aidan Joseph Finn. Kevin Alexander George. Casey Morgan Hanks, summa cum laude. Matthew Kenneth Healy. Mary Ellen Kelleher. Megan S. Kwan, summa cum laude. Matthew Carey Lastner, summa cum laude. Julia Nealon, magna cum laude. Douglas Matthew Malcolm. Carrie Ann Ashebe Main, magna cum laude. Emily Nguyen, cum laude. Priyal Patel. Caleb Phillips, summa cum laude. Natalie Piltoyan, cum laude. Oliver Michael Santos, summa cum laude. Benjamin Peter Stefanos. Beelan K. Turfa. Joanne Shan Wang, magna cum laude. We now present the graduates in physics. Asimit Vatarai, magna cum laude. Andrew Augustus Bruns, cum laude. Cameron Lloyd Hahn, summa cum laude. Maxfield Linus Hartley, magna cum laude. Alexander Hill. Megan Elizabeth Jones. Taylor Louise O'Nelly. Dane Murray A. Pluck, cum laude. Colleen Russell. Ramsey Lane Stewart. Maggie L. Williams. We now present the graduates in Translational Life Science Technology. Hakeem Chakic, magna cum laude. Caitlin Davis. Anastasia Golikova. Gina Huang. Jennifer M. Lee. Susan Yosef, cum laude.
I now call upon Anupam Joshi, Oros Family Professor and Acting Dean of the College of Engineering and Information Technology.
President Shears Ashby. I am delighted to present, and I'm going to use the C's now, the curious and the committed students of the College of Engineering and Information Technology.
Bachelor's candidates in the College of Engineering and Information Technology. We now present the graduates in Chemical, Biochemical, and Environmental Engineering. Ethan David Banks, summa cum laude. Holden Bozil. Nalan Adambi Bolima, magna cum laude. Emily Marie Bolt. Anastasia Golikova. On Lam Ching. An Hong Dang, summa cum laude. Connor Timothy Flynn. Liam Earl Fritz, cum laude. Rai Ephraim Hunde. Ashley Kambugu. Nicholas David Catano. Paul Haugen Loberg, cum laude. Anino Orishe Favor Mabahanje. Chiad Kevin Onyeje, cum laude. Dimitri Lucas Papavasiliou. Charlotte Gray Petrilla. Joshua A. Picars, cum laude. Jan Patricia V. Rass. Nicholas Leo Schmidt, magna cum laude. Daniel Alden Sabrowski, cum laude. Asad Shafkat Siddiqui. Keaton Walker Silbigger, cum laude. Nda Fru Tadzone. John Andrew Velke. Carson Parker Wolf, summa cum laude. Sarah Fatim Khadija Yoda, summa cum laude. We now present the graduates in Computer Science and Electrical Engineering. Mariam Abraham, summa cum laude. Sabra Abraham. Paul Adeniyi Adelai. Iman Oriofiolua Adetunji. Kalechi Richard Agomuo. John Anthony Akers. Leon Akras. Hasnain Naki Ali, cum laude. Aloysius Ambe. Olivia Amaral. Alfonso Gabriel M. Aquino, summa cum laude. Regan C. Armstrong, summa cum laude. Azka Assad, magna cum laude. Richard Charles Baldwin. Kenny Becerra. Joshua Carl Bernal, summa cum laude. Manav Tarun Bhatt, magna cum laude. Hunter Boyce. Maxwell Jacob Breitmeyer. Aliyah Ashake Bello, magna cum laude. Nia A. Bryant, cum laude. Nicholas Paul Kahn. Nicholas Batista, summa cum laude. Cole Kavanaugh. Peter Francisco Joque, cum laude. Seth Torrin Ellis. David Ethan Swain, cum laude. John David Hare, cum laude. Philip Keon Ruiz Guasa. Emmett A. Cochetti. Logan Cutler, cum laude. Jonathan Michael Daniel, cum laude. Arya Sankar Das. Jadan O'Neill Davis, cum laude. Aaron Day. Eleni S. DeBebe. Patrick DuBois, cum laude. Michael J. DeReggi. Jonathan Andrew Deaton, summa cum laude. Ikram Yisahak Doku. Kurt Anthony Drexel. Matthew Scott Dufilly, cum laude. Zachary Scott Irvin, magna cum laude. Odalis Flores. Eric Andrew Fodell, Carl Justin Karan Francisco, Anirudh K. Gadaria, Elton Sa Bali, Amarjot Singh Gill, magna cum laude, Ronnie Radames Hernandez Ramos, magna cum laude, Syed A. Hussain, Benza Isoline Augustine Hamilton, summa cum laude, Amin Han, summa cum laude, Casey Hanley, Tyler Frederick Hempy, Mariana Faye Fadalik Hicks, Dylan James Hildebrand, magna cum laude, Bradley Nathan Hoffman, cum laude, Vaughn Christopher Hood, cum laude, Joseph Patrick Hoskins, Xavier Jelani Howard, Talha Hussein, cum laude, Waleed Iqbal, Victor Nicholas Ivanov, Akshay Savio Jayakumar, Morgan Quinn Johnston, cum laude, Daniel Nakam Dokaji, Ashley Elizabeth Kalanak, Alec Kalish, cum laude, Naheem Kamruzaman, cum laude, Tyler Mason Cash, cum laude, Heran Retta Kasey, cum laude, Jackson Kaiser, cum laude, Ajmal B. Kigundu, Joseph Ryan Keene, cum laude, Vladislav Koveko, Ali Cattell, Sher Han, Claire H. Kim, magna cum laude, Taehyung Kim, Raymond Martin Kucharik, Arjun Kundu, Pravar Aditya Kochar, cum laude, Jared Martin Lake, Emily Lynn Langlois, magna cum laude, Allison Angel Lee, Kyung Suk Lee, Stephen Lee, Naya Nakai Lewis, Leighton Lee Linneberg, magna cum laude, Megan Lynn Lazambri, cum laude, Roel Lomat, Avian Maurice Lowry, cum laude, Michelle Hauma, summa cum laude, Matthew Oscari Makila, summa cum laude, Dior Mamarakimov, cum laude, Cheyenne Marguerite Marblé, Shivanku Margam, Jacob Michael Mara, cum laude, Nicholas James Marthinus, magna cum laude, Kathleen Gabriela Martinez, Ann May, cum laude, Aidan Francis McGaughy, magna cum laude, Amar Anthony McLean, David Benjamin Midhour, Mark Antoine Millian, Thomas Ryan Moran, Ryan Robert Murray, cum laude, Nicholas Daniel Myers, magna cum laude, Akil Venkata Ganesh Nara Harasetti, Zachary Jacob Nelson, Alan Wynn, Anthony Wynn, Douglas Wynn, Duck Wynn, magna cum laude, Wu Lei An Wynn, cum laude, Yen Hai Wynn, magna cum laude, Ayush Anurag Nigam, magna cum laude, Aditya Narula, cum laude, Timothy Obarduwaka Wogu, Sandria Nevi, cum laude, Alexander Stephen Oberly, summa cum laude, Peter Ifeolua Obinomen, Babatunde Ogundokun Ayanda, Ebunoluwa Olalade Oyemade, Robin Jose Paranilam, Milan J.S. Parmer, cum laude. Ananya Patri, magna cum laude. Elliot Leland Pearson, Jr. Michael Stephen Purfoy, Charles Louis Polozovsky, Jr., cum laude. Jenna Noel Pollack, Andrei Popov, Shristi Pokarel, Brandon Paul Price, Justin Angelo Rulan Kedit, Ryder Alden Reed, cum laude. Harun Riasat, summa cum laude. Kevin Drake Rippey, Joshua Andrew Ruhlman, George McComb Rush, cum laude. Abir Samad, magna cum laude. Sam Carlin Sheck, summa cum laude. Mason Gregory Christopher Shuckman, summa cum laude. Logan Dunning Seeley, cum laude. Arjun R. Shah, Peter Aaron Scrandis, cum laude. Riley Blaine Sheehy, cum laude. Allison Ann Smith, cum laude. Andrew John Smith, summa cum laude. Kyle Smith, magna cum laude. Matthew Smith, cum laude. Griffin William Sober, cum laude. Olayemi Dupeola Sogbesan, Salem Paul Soin Voshel, magna cum laude. Emmy Regina Stats, summa cum laude. Dylan Cooper Street, Akash Subedi, Yusuf Abdul Sattar, cum laude. Spencer Cole Suskind, magna cum laude. Carson Mitchell Swain, magna cum laude. Nabil Sayed, cum laude. Brandon Vin Kita, magna cum laude. Joseph Dylan Tarrenton, John Dale Tawil, Shane Benjamin Taylor, Robinson Bowie Tlythe, Jessica Antoinette Turner, summa cum laude. Sahil Ahmed Uddin, Collins Aman Ufwa, cum laude. Sriram Vema, Ian Carl Wagner, summa cum laude. Mikolai Ignacy Valchak, cum laude. Mark Anthony Whittingham, Timothy Paul Weir, cum laude. Oluwatobiloba E. Williams, magna cum laude. Kyle Austin Williford, summa cum laude. Daniel Joseph Williams, Dylan Jacob Wolf, cum laude. Jackson Timothy Wright, magna cum laude. Evan Rowe, Brooke Ishatu Yimmer, Etsubdink Workalama Yurkashwa, Kobe Nathaniel Ziv, magna cum laude. We now present the graduates in Information Systems. Amani Ibukunolua Adetunji, Abubakar Ahmed, Kelly Masa Akambi, Brandon Michael Alexander, Jesse Ryan Alcon, Venkata Lakshmi Harsha Ambati, Danielle Konadu Anani, Caitlin Marie Atkinson, Hayu Chanyalo Ayano, cum laude. Matthew Kam Hung Ban, cum laude. Priya Esperaya, Justin Michael Barry, Wendy Bickersteth, summa cum laude. Christopher John Bracey. Jada Olivia Bright, cum laude. Jewel Michelle Janae Brown. Ruhan Butt. Jay Sahir Chano. Lanxing Chen, cum laude. Mandy Mung Chen, magna cum laude. Alan Chung. Billy Shu Ching. Matthias David Tehun Chu. Roma Joy Anchetta Cielo. Anthony B. Conliff. Matthew Cox. Holland Vonderleer Davis. Anthony Philip Delizio, cum laude. Kendall A. Hendricks, cum laude. Lauren Francis Conduit, cum laude. Lillian Grace Begley, cum laude. Colby Jacob Wishar. Mateo Augustus Brown. Nathan S. Din. Kenneth Deep, magna cum laude. Darren Dong. Muhammad Faizan Alahi, cum laude. Amina Hyman El Ashri, cum laude. Coyote Benjamin Fasaye. Naja Alana Franklin. Trenton J. Foster. Johan Marcoso Galeza, summa cum laude. Dominic Anthony Gambogi, magna cum laude. Meredith Gillette, cum laude. Nehemiah Buru Guksa. Semret Haile. Thomas Russell Hamby. Rafeh Hashmi. Eamon A. Hawk. Nicholas Benjamin Heiner. Colin Keller Hill. Kimberly Din Ho, cum laude. Chiagosium Anthony Igwe. Ryan Immergluck. Piero Amir Ishak. Marquis Timothy Jones. Nafisa Kamar Eldin, cum laude. Kaveh Edward Kamgar Dehoff. Alexander Anthony Kadra. Ellen Yunse Kim, summa cum laude. Meena Kim. Manmeet Singh, cum laude. Eric Lamb. Kayla Lamb. Kyle Lambert. Rita Levesque. Jason N. Lee, cum laude. Ariana Lee. Hannah E. Lee. Samuel Bowen Lee. Luis Abraham Leo. Leah A. Lewis. Moses Leon. Michael Lockley. Jordan Marcus Maddox. Victor Manzi. Mark Christopher Martinez. Ladia Batitila Mayenge. Harley Schuyler Millar. Andrew Miller, magna cum laude. Moeed Ahmad Mughal, summa cum laude. Drew Mutlu. Thaddeus Joseph Nemiroff, cum laude. Robert William No. Dang Wee Tan Nguyen, magna cum laude. Daniel Hiep Nguyen. Daniel Alexandru Nakusan, cum laude. Alexander Obodo Jr., cum laude. Adeolua Temitope Opadina. Anuoluwapo P. Olawale. Moroti Olua Demilade Oyeyeme. Urvi Barath Kumar Panchal. Anuj Paresh Pai Patel. Devanshi Y. Patel, Kushi Patel, Kush R. Patel, cum laude. Pratik Ghanshayam Patel, cum laude. Priyansi Patel, Rishi Patel, Ravi R. Patel, Christopher M. Petra, Andrew Allen Rasmussen, Sanihith Ravulapalli, Julian Quintero Rezio, Jacob Reiter, Van Simon Apura Rakiron, Richard V. Roth, Anthony Lazarus Rivera, Alexander Romine, magna cum laude. Amrit Sandhu, Ephraim Schlesinger, Iverson A. Scarlett, Sabrina Scott, cum laude. Tara Paturia Nicole Scott, Kauru Seki, magna cum laude. Devin Sellers, Maria Sofia Don Maya Katapong Semilia, Hamid H. Sheikh, Kevin Andre Shields, Baraka Sela, Noah Kyle Sim, Rabindra Nath Singh, Alexis Catherine Smith, magna cum laude. Nishan Suba, cum laude. Mohiuddin Mohammed Syed, Haida Tahir, Jan Hervé Tamdem, Ria Taneja, cum laude. Brian Andrew Tian, cum laude. Emily Elizabeth Tritley, magna cum laude. Helen A. Trin, cum laude. Alexander Robert Trim, Julie Gianni Tu, magna cum laude. Andrew Peter Valiansky, Jacques Maxwell Vaughn, Dalian Whitley, Amanda Yumi Yi, magna cum laude. Haonan Zhuang, cum laude. We now present the graduates in mechanical engineering. Alexander Michael Abrams, Malcolm Elihu Autry, Mahamadou Ba, cum laude. Isuru Bandera, William Eric Bassett Jr., magna cum laude. Kojo Abrokwa Benefo, cum laude. Christopher Matthew Biskatch, cum laude. Benjamin Joseph Brooks, magna cum laude. Ethan Matthew Butehorn, cum laude. Gabriel Francis Cabonilas, magna cum laude. Brittany Castle, Timothy Chan, Garby Chu, cum laude. Michael Colgan, Austin Rue Collins, magna cum laude. Yadil Abebe Duresi, Keith Despacito, summa cum laude. Christopher Joseph Downing, Alejandro N. Espinosa Quiroga, Daniel Farley, Nush N. Guy, magna cum laude. Patrick J. Huber, Allison Lauren Hunter, Anessa Savini Jang Bahadur, cum laude. Andrew Mathura Kokilpersad, Matthew Lopez, Simon Loy, Brian Liam Lubinsky, magna cum laude. Elizabeth Ann Mailer, Evelyn Priscilla Mann, magna cum laude. Anthony Michael Matsuda Griffiths, Kara M. McGarren, Charles Jeremy Allen Morgan, Joshua Paul Moskis, Michael Sean Mullaney, summa cum laude. Mohammed Nasser, Nadim R. Nasser, William Cosman Nault, cum laude. Devin Michael Newby, cum laude. Chris Brian Yagepa. Corey Brendan O'Toole. Naomi Braila Ojokojo. Edward Meredith Presnell V, cum laude. Caitlin Savannah Reddick, magna cum laude. Aaron Michael Sadowski, summa cum laude. Katab Ahmad Salih. Jonathan Sardin, magna cum laude. Tanner Saslow. John Michael King Seitz, cum laude. Peter M. Serp, magna cum laude. Daniel Shaner. Jacob Robert Shepard. Harmanpreet Singh, cum laude. Brant McLeod Smith, summa cum laude. Colton James Smith. Nolan Davis Scott Smith. Min Jae Song. Noah Springer, magna cum laude. Micah Russell Stahl. Daryl Theron Suber. Zachary Mitchell Taylor, cum laude. V. Trill Than, summa cum laude. Jonathan Warren Trossel. Shia K. Wachtel, summa cum laude. John David Wiley. Connor Ray Wingate, magna cum laude. Joel Magnus Yartel.
I now call upon Catherine Cole, Dean of the Division of Undergraduate Academic Affairs.
The closer. President Shears Ashby, it is my honor to present the innovative, passionate, and absolutely amazing students from the Division of Undergraduate Academic Affairs who have completed all requirements for the degrees of Bachelor of Arts and Bachelor of Science.
Bachelor's candidates in the Division of Undergraduate Academic Affairs. We now present the graduates in Individualized Study. Francesca Mary Burton. Ruth Claire Chapman. Robin Michelle Downs. Jacob Jackson. Alexander J. Lagana. Yeva Christina V. Lysenko, cum laude. Megan Karen Milstein. Sarah Rosalind Stewart, cum laude. Mia Ann Turman, magna cum laude.
Join me in congratulating all of our graduates. Thank you, thank you. Now, graduates, I invite you to participate in a wonderful tradition to symbolize your accomplishments. Would you all please stand? All of our graduates, please stand. Graduates, now you may turn your tassels from right to left. Congratulations. Now, please join me in welcoming the UMBC Jubilee Singers to lead us in the singing of our alma mater. The choir will be conducted by Janice Jackson, who is the director of the UMBC Jubilee and Gospel Choirs. After the alma mater, we ask that you remain at your seats. Our program will be concluded by our Grand Marshal, and then the platform party and students will recess. Please wait to leave until the platform party has left the floor. Please stand, if you are able, for the singing of our alma mater. The words can be found on the back of your program. Thank you so much to the Jubilee Singers. That was beautiful. And now I invite Susan McDonough to conclude our ceremony.
Will everyone kindly remain standing until the platform party has recessed? Families and friends are asked to meet your graduates outside of the arena. On behalf of the UMBC community, I wish you congratulations, everyone.